Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
All right, Clara is up in Louisville, Kentucky. Clara, how can we help?
Hey, guys. I am thrilled to be able to talk to you guys.
Well, we are thrilled to talk to you.
question.
What's happening?
Yay. I have a question more for Jade, my money girl.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I'm gonna smoke a cig while you guys talk. This will be great.
Okay. We are looking at buying a house next year, and we want to know if we're crazy or if we're rushing into it, or if our numbers are looking okay and what order we need to do things.
Okay.
So
tell me more.
right now we have $6,200 on a credit card,
Okay.
$7,000 on a truck, and then
Okay.
a $20,000 home equity line of credit.
Okay.
Within the past, since August, we've paid off $34,000 in credit card debt.
Good.
So we're on a roll. And my goal is to have the credit card and the truck paid off by March.
Okay.
And then I didn't know, do I not pay on the home? Well, I pay the minimum payment on the home equity line of credit and do our 3 to 6 months emergency savings. And then when we sell our house, pay that off and still have 20% to put down on the new house.
I'd pay it off.
Or do
I'd work to pay it off for two
Okay.
reasons. A, it's less than half of the value of your home, I'm guessing. Like it's less than half.
Yes. Yeah, we owe $124 on our house, and we could sell it for $230.
Yeah, because it's less than half of that 124. I'd go ahead and pay it off. And here's the thing: if you don't pay it off, it's going to cut into your winnings, right? When you sell the house.
Right.
So you may as well pay it off so that money goes right back into your pocket. Again, it's that idea of you're forcing yourself to save the money by paying off this $20,000. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So you're going to get it back.
We still need the 3 to 6 months before we buy, or can we take that out of the what we make on the house?
Again, it's what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but you need to get the 3 to 6 months in place first. And then when you sell the house, that money is going towards the next house.
Okay.
Right.
So just that whole chunk goes straight toward the next house.
Because you're going to need it, right? Well, how much are you trying to put down?
Well, we would only need about $70,000 to put down. The house we're looking at is around $300,000.
And how much, sorry, you told me this, but I missed it. When you sell the house, how much will it bring in total?
$230,000.
No. How much will you take home?
We should have about $110,000.
$110,000. So you're saying, and that's after fee. Is that after fees? And you've considered all that?
No, that's before.
Okay, so let's consider fees and let's knock off 15. All right, and let's say that you bring home 95. So you're saying, hey, we never planned to put that full 95 down, and we can take some of that and put it as our emergency fund.
Right.
Well, what would
still have the 20%?
Listen, the way my mind works, I'm like, I want to put the full 95% down, or the full 95,000 down.
90. Okay.
How long will it take you to save up 3 to 6 months?
Maybe 2 months.
I would listen. Listen. Save up that 3 to 6 months. It's all the same. You know what I'm saying? It's a big pool of money, and I see what you're trying to do. You're kind of trying to shift it so you can move faster. I would rather you have that extra $15,000 to put down on this mortgage. It's okay. In the long run, you're going to thank yourself for it. And it's not like it'd be one thing if you said, Jade, it's going to take us 6 more months to save up, or another year to save up. That'd be maybe a little different. I might change my answer, maybe not. But in this case, it's 2 months. Like, just wait 2 months.
Right.
And then you've got more money. You've got $15,000 more in your pocket, and that's going to go towards your mortgage. I love that idea.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
That solved my problem.
Clara,
great job.
Did you get what you needed from Jade? You needed anything from me at all? I mean, anything? Nothing?
Your cigarette's gone out.
No, I don't think I do.
Oh, great. I see how this is, Clara.
Oh, Merry Christmas.
I see how this is. No, we love you, Clara. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. She didn't want to ask me anything.
Listen, Ken, in that sweater?
I get it. I know. I think it's intimidating. It puts off the wrong vibe, I guess.
It's very
Alex.
intimidating.
Create your free EveryDollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. Canada is on the line. Maggie is calling. Hi, Maggie. How are you?
Hi, good, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up in your world?
Well, Dave, I'd like to liquidate my portfolio and be able to put it. I want to trade on with cryptocurrency, and I just want your opinion.
Do you listen to this show?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
What are you currently invested in?
I have an investment account. I have TSFA, and I have a RIF account.
And what has caused you to go, hey, you know what? I'm going to trade all of that to go into crypto.
Because I'm losing in my portfolio drastically this year. And I just know that I don't believe I'm going to come back, for a long time. They say it'll come back, but I think it's not going to come back for 10 years. And I'm already 72. So I just feel like, and I've also have experienced, it's not like I have been doing crypto trading now for a while.
Have you seen the crypto market?
Satisfied.
It's a lot darker than the stock market. You're trading a paper cut for a stab.
Well, I've made money in the crypto market.
How much?
Probably about $10,000.
Is that enough to retire on?
No.
What's in your investments currently?
But I've also picked contracts that have been lower, definitely, because I haven't had that much money to do anything with.
At your age, I'm not going to go to Vegas and just put it all on black and hope for the best. That's not a great retirement plan. That worries me.
Okay. Let's back up. Let's back up a second, okay?
It worries.
You're scared because your good investments went down. And right about the time I get desperate and scared is the step before I get really stupid. Desperate people and highly greedy people make the worst financial mistakes. And your fear is making you do statistically, or suggesting that you do statistically, the equivalent of putting this money on a roulette wheel or a hand of poker. Because crypto is extremely volatile, extremely risky, at least 100 times more risky than your current retirement portfolio. At least. And you're telling me, I put money in the slot machine and I came out with more money than I put in.
Well, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it myself. I have a trader that's helping me, so I never close my market in a negative position. It's always in a positive position in crypto.
Okay. Well, Maggie, you do what you want. I'm 62. My net worth is hundreds of millions of dollars, and I have precisely zero in crypto.
Right.
And I'm not desperate, and I'm not scared.
Warren Buffett said.
And the idea that you have a trader doing it for you scares me for you even more, because this is giving you false confidence. A, you've had some wins. B, you have someone whispering in your ear how wonderful they are and how they are going to take care of you, which is how people that are 72 years old lose everything they own. This is how it happens. Okay? Please don't do this. But I don't think that the decision is really up in the air. I think you've already made your decision.
And if I told Maggie, hey, 2 years from now, your money's going to be back to where it was in your retirement account, I don't know that she would do it, but it's hard to see that far out ahead when you just see your accounts bleeding out. And so you just want to do anything to not be doing that.
One of the wealthiest men in the world says, be greedy when others are cautious and cautious when others are greedy. And that's Warren Buffett. And he doesn't mean greedy like being a bad person, a lack of character greedy. He means be aggressive when others are cautious, and cautious when others are aggressive. And crypto is no place to play with money that you can't afford to lose. And you're going to lose it. And then you're going to call me back and say, well, I had this guy who made me, and he's singing a siren song. And I sure hope you don't do it, honey. I sure hope you don't do it.
It sounds like this trader's probably telling her, hey,
I'm
you should
telling
liquidate
you
and give me all your money.
This trader is he's talked to her up big time. He's buttered her bread. And this guy's a freaking con artist. He's a crypto con man.
Well, we've also have the quote from Warren Buffett saying he wouldn't pay $25 for all of the Bitcoin in the world.
Yeah. And I think he's got more money than me, you, and your trader put together. So, and I don't disagree with that at all. So it's just an extremely volatile market, and that's being kind. It's crazy is what it is. But I don't have any money in it, and there's a reason. Crypto is way more down. Well, how much is it down, George? Do you know?
I mean, it depends on what coin. I mean, a lot of them went bankrupt.
And
there's fraud. There's scams. 97%.
Oh, and by the way, too, Maggie, the number of people the number of dollars lost, not in Bitcoin or not in crypto, but in fraud associated with crypto is what?
I mean, in the billions.
Billions. It's $2.5 billion at this point have been lost to crypto. And let me tell you who the number one target of that type of fraud and con is. People over 65. People that are desperate and scared.
Empty promises.
And so I'm not saying your trader is a con artist. I'm just saying there's a higher probability that he's a con artist than if he was in any other business because of the number of crypto con artists that are out there. People that are this thing is drawn the worst of the worst. And so you can do what you want to do, but you made the mistake of calling here and asking, and we will give you our opinion, and we are experts on our opinion. Dell is with us in Kansas City. Hi, Dell. How are you?
Dave, this is a thrill. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Certainly. And what is your net worth?
Well, Dave, I am 53 years old, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I am worth about $22 million.
Goodness gracious. Okay, break that down for me, the big numbers.
Dave, 98% probably is in real estate. When I was about 22 years old, I started buying income-producing real estate, and I've stuck with it. I've learned it. I've learned everything about it, and I love it. I'm passionate about it. Every chance I get, I tell friends and family what I've done. I try to teach people.
$20 million worth of real estate. What's the other $2 million?
My personal houses, which I guess is real estate, vehicles and, that kind of stuff.
So do you have retirement accounts of any kind?
Very minimal, probably $100,000 in some type of.
So it is truly a pure real estate portfolio. Wow.
It is.
Pretty cool. And what's your degree in?
Dave, I was lucky to get out of high school, and that is an honest, being honest there. I graduated in the very bottom of my class. I do have a couple years in junior college. I studied mostly business classes. And
what was your GPA in high school?
You know what? It's been 30-some years ago. I have no idea. But
low.
It was low. It was low.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. So I am guessing when I get to this debt question, you're going to tell me you did borrow money to create wealth, that you're going to say you borrowed money on this real estate.
Dave, I can tell you, when I started out buying real estate, I use creative financing. I never would have dreamt of buying automobiles or stereos or clothes or vacations with debt, but I have to say I did, and I still do today, buy income-producing real estate with debt, but I'm very careful about it.
Got it.
Again, I wouldn't
it's worked. I mean, you killed it. Your $22 million net worth's real at 53. So what's your highest household income year?
Oh, in the last couple years, my tax return is floating right about $1 million a year.
Okay, and that's rental income.
Yes, sir.
All right, hold on. When we come back from the break, I got a couple more questions for you. You're off the charts one here. You're an outlier, and I want to learn from you. This is pretty cool. Very nice. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. We talk to all kinds of millionaires who made their money in the music business, millionaires who are famous, millionaires who aren't, millionaires who borrowed money, millionaires who didn't, millionaires who bought new cars, millionaires who didn't, millionaires who graduated from high school, millionaires who have a PhD. We talk to all kinds of millionaires because all we care about is you're a millionaire, how'd you do that? And even if it doesn't necessarily line up with Dave Ramsey says this or Chris Hogan says this, it doesn't matter. We're learning from real millionaires how they really did it. And Dell is in Kansas City. He really did it, buying real estate with debt, and has a $22 million net worth, which means if you have debt, that means your real estate's worth a lot more than that, right, Dale?
Yes, sir.
What's your real estate worth total?
I don't know, to be honest with you. My debt's about $13 million, so...
Well, then that would be those two added together, right?
$40 million.
I mean, it would be $35 million, right?
Yes.
Because 35 minus 13 is 22, if that's your net worth, right?
Yes, sir.
Unless I'm missing something. Okay. So you did creative financing, and you've got a little bit of debt, but your debt is less than 30% of your net worth. You have a 70% equity position, right?
Yes, that's true.
Has it always been that way, or have you worked up to that?
I've worked up to that. When I first started, I'd put down I was broke, so I'd put down the least amount of possible. I'd buy a little single-family house and rent it for the most possible. I'd work on the darn thing, and a couple years later, I'd refinance, take that cash, and I'd buy something bigger. So these days, I strictly buy high-rise type apartment buildings. No more single-family stuff. I'm hands-on. I work 40 or 50 hours a week. I have a great team behind me, a team of an attorney, an accountant, a realtor, an architect. I treat them good. I pay their bills on time. I give them referrals, and in turn, they treat me good.
How much money of this $22 million did you inherit?
Not a penny. Not a penny.
Okay, cool.
I think I'm a true rags to riches type of guy. I come from what I would call a poor family, I guess. My family wasn't in real estate, and when I started, that was pre-internet. So I educated myself by going to the library. I'd read real estate books. I'd read them over and over and over, and it just clicked with me, Dave. And I had what I call my light bulb moment. I had some goals I wanted to reach, and one day a light bulb went off, and I thought, real estate is how I'm going to achieve these goals. And I was always big about making written goals. I always say if your goal's not written, it's a dream. And I wanted goals. And when I was in my 20s, I said, I'm going to meet these goals. And I did it, and I haven't looked back. And I'm still, to this day, passionate about real estate. I love to talk about it. I love to, teach my friends about it.
Chris, there's that intentionality we were talking about again.
It really is.
The written goal, the laser focus.
And going in and reading, Dave, he's pursuing knowledge.
Is that what you would tell people now, Del, if you were talking to a millennial and they said, you can't be a millionaire now, you have to inherit all your money? What would you tell them?
Dave, I would tell them to get some written goals. I would tell them to find what they're passionate about. I would tell them to learn everything they can about that and to not stop learning. I would tell them to build that team. I would tell them to live today like nobody, so that tomorrow, the rest of it.
That sounds familiar, Dale.
Live like no one else, so later you can live and give like no one else. Way to go, Dale. Congratulations.
Again, Dave, not an accident.
No, none of these are accidents. Christine is with us in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Hi, Christine. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Thank you so much for taking my call. So my husband and I are new listeners of yours, and we're on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. We have no debt except for our mortgage.
Good.
But we're concerned that our mortgage is a bit high. It doesn't quite follow your ratios, so I just wanted to talk that through with you and see if we should just keep going on or make a change.
Okay. In this case, our ratios don't matter as much in the case of a mortgage payment as a percentage of your income as why we have the ratios. Now, that matters a lot, okay? The why is simply if you use up all your money on your house payment, you don't have any money. It's called house poor, right? And that will cause you, if you're living with a super high house payment, even though you're already out of debt and you're baby step 4, 5, and 6, it'll keep you from investing long-term, keep you from your generosity goals. And it, in some cases, if it's super high, if people feel forced to take a car payment because they don't save up for a car because they don't have any room to save up for a car or something like that. So that's the reason we tell people to not get a super high house payment like most of the culture tells you to do. Once you kind of understand that, then you can kind of back into your particulars and say, okay, what are we violating on the 25% of your take-home pay on a 15-year fixed, and how is that going to be okay, given that we don't want to be house poor? So, how much is your house payment?
$3,900.
Say again.
$3,900.
And your monthly take-home pay is
$11,000.
Okay, so you're about 34%.
Right.
Okay. And what do you guys do for a living?
My husband is in supply chain.
Is what?
And he's in supply chain, and I stay home with our kids.
Supply chain.
Oh, God, I can't hear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Supply chain. All right. And he's killing it. So how many raises is he? No, because the last 2 years don't count. What do you guys feel like the trajectory of his income is? Is it going to go up substantially in the next 3 years?
I think so.
Which makes this conversation not needed, moot, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because, I mean, if it goes from 33% to 28% to 25% with 3 raises, because your house payment stays the same and your income goes up, then we're not worried about you being house poor long term, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's one fix for this.
But if he had 2 wild years based on supply chain backup and he crushed it and he's going to settle back into $9,000 a month, now you got a problem.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you looking at on his income, do you think?
I think it'll go up. I don't think it'll go down.
If it goes down, you need to reevaluate this house.
Okay.
If it as long as it has an upward trajectory in the next 36 to 48 months, you're not going to be stuck there with all your money going to a house payment and not being able to fund your kid's college fund.
Or having an air conditioner break and you got to go to a credit union to be able to pay for it, right?
Right.
Well,
although we do have an emergency fund.
That's right. That's right.
Good.
Yeah. So just don't get yourself to where you're there. That's the whole point of the thing, you see. And
yeah.
So you don't need Ramsey to tell you how to manage your life. But a good rule, period, whether Ramsey's in your discussion or not, is don't be house poor. Don't have a house payment that takes up all your money.
Right.
Makes you broke. And so, but I think you sound like you're okay. It's not ideal. If you were getting ready to buy a home, I would tell you to back off. Don't be so house, but you're there. I wouldn't tell you to move over this. You're not trapped and hopelessly mathematically disabled, So I wouldn't tell you to do that. But you don't have any room. It's got to go up. It can't go back. And you don't have any wiggle room, because if it goes down much and stays down very long, you're going to be forced into a different property. But right now, I think you got a lot of house. And in Cheyenne, Wyoming, that's a big freaking house. That's a big dog right there. Well done. Good for you. I bet it's fun. Most mornings at 4:45 a.m., the alarm goes off beside my bed. The coffee goes off about the same time on a timer. I'll need it about then. Sharon and I get up and spend a little time talking and drinking coffee and praying and catching up on our Bible and scanning through what's happening in the news. And I always jump on TweetDeck and just see what's happening out there in the world on Twitter. And I always find some interesting stuff about, 5:36 in the morning or something like that. And this morning is no exception. Now, here's my rule about Twitter, okay? I will not come after you personally on Twitter unless you call me out, and then I might respond if you call me out. And so I do not feel like I am prohibited from responding when you trash me. I'm not prohibited from responding. Now, there are people that say, oh, just ignore everybody, don't be thin-skinned. Well, I'm not thin-skinned, but I just think it's always interesting that you're allowed to say whatever the flip you want to say, and I'm not allowed to say anything back. So I always want to let you know, rules for Dave Ramsey Twitter is this. If you use my name anywhere in the social media universe, I might see it and I might respond. I might likely have fun with you and make fun of you. That's possible. Or I could use an object lesson, which is what I'm going to do today. So apparently there's an article floating around, which I hadn't seen until this morning, and I did look it up, about Jay-Z, the rapper Jay-Z. He had one expensive night out in Manhattan on Sunday, according to this article on Fox News, dropping more than $110,000 to celebrate the birthday of Juan Perez, his close friend and the president of Roc Nation Sports. Jay skipped the All-Star game and took Juan and a group of Roc Nation execs to Zuma in Midtown for dinner, which is a nice place, picking up the tab there for $13,000. Then the group headed down to Made in Mexico in Inwood, spending $9,000 on drinks, including Jay-Z's cognac, he owns a cognac brand, followed by a stop at a nearby nightclub playroom where, even though they were by this point down to a group of 6, they ordered and paid full price for 40 bottles of Ace of Spades champagne, which is really nice champagne, also owned by Jay-Z. The stunned playroom server posted Jay's check on Snapchat, which came to a whopping $91,135. That was his bar tab. $91,135, and included an epic $11,000 tip. Well played, Jay-Z. And now I got to tell you, I'm a child of the 70s, and so I'm more like Boston, Journey, Heart, Eagles. So rap wasn't even invented back when I was cool. By the time rap came around, I wasn't cool. And so I've never really developed a taste for it, but I have been so intrigued by the rappers. Even though I don't listen to rap music. I'm not against it. I'm not mad at it. It's just not my style. And yet I've gotten to meet several of them and hang out, and they are an interesting crew. We got one that does some stuff on money that comes on the air here with me. It's a great guy. Jay-Z, by all accounts, is one of the world's best businessmen. He makes a lot of money. He does a great job managing his business. And, he's got his own line of champagne. He's got his own line of cognac. He's got his own line of this, his own line of that. And so not only has he made $1 billion as a music artist and is a world-class legitimate music artist, obviously, but he's a great business guy, apparently. I've never met him. I don't know him. But, I mean, I've just known this, 1 degree, 2 degrees of separation for years about Jay-Z. And I don't know anything about his character. I don't know the guy at all. But he makes a lot of money. He manages his business affairs very well, by all appearances. And so I just looked it up. I thought, you drop $100,000, $91,000 plus $11,000 tip in the nightclub. You drop $100,000. I wonder what you make. Because people always go, wow, that's unbelievable. Well, apparently he made $42 million in 2017. And he dropped $100,000 last night or night before last or whatever it was. It's hard I grew up in Antioch, Tennessee. To get my head around dropping $100,000 in a bar tab, I can't get my brain wrapped around that emotionally. But it always helps me, and therefore you, to do ratios on things. And so I just start taking zeros off. So what if you were a doctor and you made, an Indian chief, I don't know what you are, and you make $120,000 a year. I'm sorry, $420,000 a year. He makes $42 million. Let's say you made $420,000 a year. Him dropping $100,000 on a night on the town would be, at making $42 million, would be like someone making $420,000 a year spending $100. If you make $42,000 a year, it would be like you spending $10. In other words, he's okay. It's weird for you and me because our incomes are not $42 million a year. I've got a very nice income, but it's not $42 million a year. And so it's weird to look at somebody spending $100,000. Well, you could feed starving children. Well, who says he doesn't feed starving children? Shut up. We don't know what he does or doesn't do. But this idea that you have to hate on Jay-Z for dropping $100,000 when the guy's a world-class business guy, a world-class artist at what he does. Again, I'm not defending him because he's a friend of mine. I don't even know him, but I'm just defending the concept. A, he's earned the right. B, he didn't hurt anybody. C, he really didn't spend that much because he bought his own stuff. So by the time it goes back through wholesale, and back into his account, he's going to make money. I mean, he paid full price at the restaurant. He didn't mess around with them there, but I mean, it is his stuff that got sold to the restaurant. Hello, the champagne and the cognac that is his line. So I'm sure. I mean, I don't know whether it's licensing deal or whether he actually owns those businesses, but in other words, it wasn't a net of $100,000. But even if it was a net of $100,000, even if he wasn't buying his own stuff. If you make $42 million a year and you spend $100,000 on a night on the town, that's like someone making $420,000 spending $100, or someone's making $42,000 spending $10. Now, when we come back from the break, here's what we're going to address in the next segment. Guy tweets, "I'm up to my elbows in bleep every day, making a third of this in a year." In other words, it makes $30,000 a year. "And I'm the lazy, self-entitled millennial for wanting to make more money. I clearly have a different definition of lazy, self-entitled than the Sean Hannity and Dave Ramsey crowd." And he prints out a picture of Jay-Z's spending the picture of the ticket that was out there for $91,000 plus $11,000 tip. Not a bad tip, not 20%, but not a bad tip. So let's address this when we come back. It's something to talk about, because you called me out, dude. So we're going to talk about this because it's an interesting lesson for you to learn. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Okay, so I end up getting in the middle of this because some guy calls me out on Twitter. So Jay-Z the rapper and businessman, makes $42 million a year, has a great night on the town, buying Ace of Spades champagne, which is his own champagne at a club, runs up a $91,000 tab, puts an $11,000 tip on it, drops $100,000 in one night. He makes $42 million a year last year. Awesome, good for him. I'm proud for him. And by the way, he's seen handing out bottles to other tables in the club, according to the article as well. And if you don't know, Ace of Spades champagne is about $300 a bottle. Okay, it's like Dom Perignon. Okay, I mean, it's pretty serious. I don't know if it's as good necessarily. I'm not a champagne connoisseur, but it's about the same price point, in other words. And so that's like someone making $420,000 a year, spending $100 in one night. That's like someone making $42,000 a year, spending $10 in one night. Well, that's opulent. That's gaudy. That is over the top. That's extravagant. You shouldn't do that, says you. See, there's the problem we have in America. You get to figure out what Jay-Z does with his money. He didn't do anything wrong. He was celebrating his friend, being generous to other tables, promoting his own brand of his product. He didn't do anything wrong. Does it blow my mind that you can drop $100,000? Yeah, I admit emotionally it blows my mind. But then a guy comes on Twitter and says, "I'm up to my elbows in bleep every day, making a third of this in a year." 30,000, I guess. "And I'm the lazy, self-entitled millennial for wanting to make more money. I clearly have a very different definition of lazy, self-entitled than the Sean Hannity, Dave Ramsey crowd." Now, I can't speak for the Sean Hannity crowd. I don't know, except to the extent they overlap with my crowd. But I will tell you two things. Number one, I take offense to the idea that I somehow don't like millennials, because I have defended millennials many times here on the air. I have said I have a ton of them working for me here, and the ones that work for me are awesome. Now, there are two types of millennials, sucks and awesome. There's no middle ground. We love millennials that are missional and driven, and man, they'll fight. They fight to win. I love them. I got a bunch of them on my team. My children are millennials. So I am not anti-millennial. Millennial is an age group. It's not a mindset. Is there a percentage of them that are participation trophy living in their mother's basement whiners? Yeah, there is. This guy's apparently one of them. And so, I mean, that's the deal, right? So why are you griping if you make $30,000 a year about Jay-Z's success? Now that's what I wanted to talk about right there. Because, see, let me just tell you, there's a couple things in your character that predispose you to being successful. I said that wrong. But anyway, predispose you to being successful. That's the correct word, proper word. Okay. one of the things that predisposes you to being successful is gratitude. Grateful people are highly attractive. Whether you're a millennial or you're a baby boomer or whatever you are. Bitterness, envy, jealousy predispose you to continue to be a failure in life. And so if you want to throw stones through other people's window because you don't have what they have, I will tell you that predisposes you to not win. The chances of you winning go down when you do that. Very few people sit and whine and gripe about other people's success and on their way to becoming successful. It's very rare. The people that become successful almost always are people who celebrate other people's success. And so, number one, I'm not against millennials. I'm for millennials. And I don't think they're lazy, self-entitled, all of them, but I think some of them are, and some baby boomers are lazy and self-entitled, and some Xers and Gen Yers and whatever else are lazy and self-entitled. Lazy and self-entitled is a thing. It's not an age. And I make a third of this, and I'm wanting to make more money. No, you're not wanting to make more money. What you're saying in your tweet is you want somebody to give you more money because you breathe air. That's lazy and self-entitled. If you want to make more than Jay-Z, go do more than Jay-Z. If you want to make more than $30,000 a year, go do more than people that make $30,000 a year. I've made $30,000 a year. I've made less. One year I made $6,000. God, that's a long year. It's awful. Listen, let me just tell you, if you want to make more money, you can make more money. But griping about Jay-Z's bar tab and indicating that you don't make enough because he has a bar tab that makes is 3 times what you make in a year is not an indication of a societal problem. It's an indication that you are jealous. Worse than that, you're envious. Jealousy is I want what you have. Envious is I don't want you to have what you have because I don't think I can get it. Well, I'll never have a car like that, so you shouldn't be allowed to. I'm not going to get an inheritance, so you shouldn't be allowed to. I'm not able to blank, 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 so you shouldn't be allowed to. That's envious. Envy is an evil spirit that is loose in the land of America today. Envy and jealousy is an evil spirit. And it has invaded some of you of all age groups. Well, the one percenters, the evil one percenters, the evil millionaires, the evil fat cats on Wall Street, the evil this. And you assume automatically that someone that has more than you has done something wrong to get there and should have it taken away from them. That's envy. Be careful with envy because let me give you a ratio. If you make a household income of $34,000 a year, up to your elbows in bleep every day, you're in the top 1% of income earners in the world. So someone in a different country could look over here in a different setting that makes a lot less than you and say, oh, I don't make that in 10 years. And you make that because you're in the United States. And you make $34,000 a year, and you shouldn't have that because I don't think I ever will. That is a dangerous thing. If you catch yourself being jealous or even worse, envious of someone else's success, that is setting you up to remain not only bitter, but in failure. Celebrate other people's success. Celebrate other people's success. Defend their right to go and be successful. There are people in this world that are better looking than Dave Ramsey. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of them. There are people in this world that are a lot more talented than Dave Ramsey. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of them. There are people in this world that are smarter than Dave Ramsey. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of them. There's a few people, not many of them, that work harder than Dave Ramsey. But in every one of those cases, if they're doing something with their talents, their gifts, their intellect, their looks in the marketplace, they make more than I make. But I'm not bad. I'm not mad at Beyonce. She's a much better dancer than I am. And I suspect most of y'all would rather look at her on a screen than me. And I wouldn't blame you. And she makes a lot more than I make. I'm not mad at Bill Gates.
Dennis joins us in Wichita. Dennis, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How can we help today?
I have actually, it's my daughter has a situation. She's 17 years old. Her mom got her a checking account when she was 16, and she's been working and putting money away and being very responsible. Well, a couple of days ago, she got a message on Instagram from somebody she did not know, saying that they enjoyed some of her pictures and they wanted to use her pictures, and they would pay her for it. Well, what they ended up doing was they sent her a check via email, said, okay, for $3,000, we're going to pay you for the pictures. You keep $500 and send us back that money when you deposit it, the $2,500 through Zelle. So she did that. I know I would have saw it instantly, but I told her, but things happen. Well, anyway, she didn't think anything of it. She went ahead, and as soon as the account said that money was there, she sent it through Zelle to this individual. And then they tried it again for another $2,500. And then my ex-wife got a text message saying that the account was overdrawn and there's suspicious activity on it. And so they went in, they filed a police report with the local police. They sent it over to the bank's asset protection. So my question is basically this. They're saying that they got the second one stopped, but the first one, she may be on the hook for $3,000, which I kind of agree with, but I kind of don't agree because I thought there should be some better protection on a checking account for a minor, and that's what it was. So we're kind of, what do we do? My thought was just let them sue her for the money, this way she gets in front of a judge. They can, at least talk to an impartial person, a judge, and say, hey, this was scammed. We shouldn't be owed this. They didn't do anything to protect this account from fraudulent activities and fraudulent checks, because it's definitely fraudulent.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of, what do we do?
How honest can I be with you?
Perfectly. Go ahead.
All right. I don't know what state you're in. Kansas there. Every state's different. But if I'm a judge and you bring this to me, I'm going to turn around and say, where were the parents of this minor? Because they're ultimately in charge when you open an account like that. And so, yes, a bank should have, if they're going to open up an account for minors, there should be protections and all that. But anything legally always rolls downhill to the parent. Not always, but almost always rolls downhill to the parents or uphill to the parents. And so you can do that. I think this is an extraordinary, expensive, pull your hair out, frustrating, but extraordinary gift for your daughter if y'all frame this right. If you frame it as making this the bank's fault, then you're teaching your daughter that if we make a big mistake and we screw up, even we trying to do right, we thought we'd get this, then there's always somebody else to blame. If you teach your daughter, man, we messed up. You messed up big. I'll split this with you, or you can work it off in this way. It's going to be a very expensive thing to learn. My promise is this never happens again. I just was dealing with somebody who's a friend of mine who's got a college-age kids, was caught up in a sexting thing and a very similar scam via Instagram. And it was a mess, caused a lot of heartache and a lot of police reports. And all that. Here's what I can promise you, that will never happen again, right? And I'm more interested in setting up a 17-year-old with a $3,000 lesson. Usually it's a car wreck or something like that you can learn a lesson like this. Set it up a lesson like this and this never happens again, than I am about, well, they should have had, I personally am not going to go down that road. And if I'm a judge, I'm going to look at you, Dad, or look at your ex-wife and say, where were the parents when this stuff was going on? That's my take on it. George, you got a thought?
Yeah, I just keep thinking, man, this could be a expensive road to go down, just fighting this thing in court when we don't even know who this guy is. And so as far as recourse goes, sure, you can report it to Zelle. You can, go after your bank and say, hey, this was fraud, this was legitimate fraud. But at the end of the day, there's a level of stupid tax here where we have to go, okay, red flag number 4,000. If they send me 3,000, but I'm only getting 500, this is a scam. When they overpay. And let me tell you, I fell for this, John. When I was younger, I shipped a pair of shoes on Craigslist to Nigeria because he said it was for his cousin, and I got a PayPal email. He paid extra for the shipping, and I thought, wow, this guy's legit. He really just wanted to send these to his cousin. It was a fake email, and it took a lot of sleuthing to even figure out it was a fake email. But I should have checked my bank account and said, is this money actually there? Is this actually in my PayPal account? And so there's a lot of things we do as teenagers, and there's two people getting scammed these days, older folks and young folks. The people in the middle hopefully know better, but especially young people, they can be susceptible because they're used to Venmo and Zelle. This is in their world. But unless they're mailing me a check and I go to the bank and cash that check, it's fraud.
I know I sound like a gong, George. And, hey, Dennis, I appreciate your vulnerability, and I appreciate you calling and asking. And I know things are challenging because you're parenting in two different households here, this young lady. If you were going to hand a child a smartphone and you're going to give them open access to the internet, to all social media, and let's let them go because they're just kids, and please do your due diligence and look at what is happening to our young people who are involved in this, just having free reign of the internet, free reign of these social media apps, free reign of this is the best case scenario, quite honestly.
Yeah.
That she lost $3,000 and learned a hard lesson. The number of people over my years working at colleges that were caught up with compromising pictures of them that are out that they can never get back, that people were taking their text messages. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Parents, you have to be in your kids' business, especially when they're minors. Well, I don't want to be private. They're 15, they're 17, they're 14, they're 13. Get in their business. Get in their business. We don't let them buy beer. We don't let them buy smokes. We don't let them go to war. We don't let them buy guns because we know that their brains aren't fully formed. Yet we hand them the internet and say, make good choices, right? And there's entire industries that are built on preying on these young folks. Parents, get involved.
Have that conversation and say, here's the ground rules. Also, if anyone asks you for money, wants to give you money, this is a conversation that goes straight to the parents, and we talk about it.
Or be a Luddite and just don't give your kid access to the internet open.
Yeah. John, no one's ever wanted to buy my photos that I post on Instagram. So, and I'm a big deal, John. So I don't know what she got on her Instagram.
No one's ever. I'm not gonna. Oh, you know what? Someone reached out and said they'd like to pay for my pictures of my feet. And that's when I thought,
I'm gonna hard nope on that one.
We're not
John.
gonna be friends.
I hope that was rhetorical, like you're talking about someone else.
No.
Dear Lord. Okay.
And if they're reaching out to, oh God, help us. Parents,
social media.
Get involved in your kids' lives. Get involved in your kids' lives.
You're not being a helicopter parent. You are being wise.
You're being a caring parent.
Yeah, well, this is not encroaching on their privacy. This is helping them avoid some huge mistakes. A $3,000 mistake.
You've got two little dogs. Do they have their own account?
If they could open a bank account, John, I would make them open one.
No, I'm talking about an Instagram account.
Oh, yeah, one of them's got one. We don't post, though.
Come on,
we're better than that. We gave up on it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Like it's just you and me and a couple million people. Are you being honest? You gave up on it?
100%. You can go check it.
I'm proud of you, George.
Thank you.
I know it's hard.
Social media is hard enough on your own, let alone posting for an animal that can't post for itself. But some good lessons here, John. Social media, I think this is one of these things this generation has to grapple with and go, what's the healthy way to use this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's going to happen more and more.
And more and more and more and more and more. Yeah.
So parents need to have these conversations, set some ground rules, set some boundaries, so that we don't end up with a situation like this.
Yeah.
It's sad.
I hate that for you, brother. I hate that, Dennis. I hate that, man. I hate this for your little girl, too.
I hope she gets some money back somehow. That'd be great. But I've heard with these Zelle scams, it can be really difficult to get your money back. There's not a lot of recourse on this, but if she gets it back, call us up. Let us know. We'll cheer on with you, man.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Next, we have Cody in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Hey, Cody, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rachel. Hey, John. It's good to hear from you guys. I must admit it's a great birthday gift to be able to talk to you guys. I'm pretty excited.
Oh,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Cody.
How old are you, man?
Birthday's not till tomorrow, but yeah, it's exciting for me. I've been listening. I'm a new listener, but
how old are you?
I do enjoy listening to you guys. 29 tomorrow.
Nice.
Hey, you're going to be 29 for the next 30 years of your life. Congratulations. That's awesome.
I know, that's what my mom keeps saying. She's been 29 for about 30 years or something like that. Yeah, she loves being 29. It's great. But,
so what's
I've got
up, dude?
A bit of a two-part question for you guys, if that's okay. It's one question, but I don't even know really how to ask it in one single thing. So I bought I started a job in insurance in 2019. We moved out to Pennsylvania. My wife's family lives here, and we lived with her parents for a little while, and we had a brand new baby at the time, and that was absolutely toxic, and I had to get out of it. So we wanted to buy as well because we've been renting for so long, and at the time, like, we'll be close family, so we wanted to buy anyway just to be in the state and grow my business. But we bought a house that's more of like your first home buy. It checked all the boxes we needed, but as the last 3 years have gone on, we don't really love the house. We're realizing we like more space. We kind of think that we want to move, but the reason I have this question every time I listen to the show is because when I bought the house, I didn't have 2 years of consecutive work history because I'm self-employed. So my dad offered to put his name on the house. I know how the Ramsey family feels about. I know. Don't hurt me. But I didn't. So I've only been listening to you guys for a little bit. But I know when I listen, and I would never do it now, nor would I ever ask him to do it again. And I've already apologized to him for doing it. And he makes buckets of money out in California doing what he's doing anyway. But it's not a problem for him, and he's never paid a single dollar at all from our house, the down payment, anything. His name just had to be on the thing in order for us to get it.
Sure.
So the idea was to get the house after I worked for 2 years, refinance it. But we're sitting here now, 3 years later, and interest rates have more than tripled. So I'm like, it sounds so dumb to refinance it. I'm a little torn because I want his name off of it. Even though he doesn't need his name off of it, it's not hurting him. Right. The bills have never gone unpaid. We do our job, but my three options that I kind of come to are refinance or stack the deck until we're ready to get the new house, which takes some time, obviously, or just pay it off in the next 3.5 to 4 years because my income goes up quite a bit each year.
Sure.
I'm just not even sure what to do, but I'm like, is it wrong to hang him on the loan or what? But
how much do you owe on the house?
About 180, 185.
Okay. And how much do you make a year?
Well, see, that's the thing. So my income has doubled over the last 2 years, and I get about a $40,000 increase each year. But
I would say you have the last few years, and you hope to get it in the future.
Yes.
Be very careful about making.
You guys would.
Yeah, don't make financial decisions based on this. Yeah, in 14 years, I'm going to be making. Right. Be careful about that.
Right. And that's why I don't want to go into like a really expensive house or anything. We're minimal people. We don't need a lot to be happy, but our income now, I'd say by the end of this year, we'll probably clock in just under. I'd say probably somewhere around 90. And then, because the majority of everything that I make, I get a giant bonus in January, depending on how annual enrollment period goes for Medicare, because I do mostly Medicare.
Okay.
So I get a huge influx in the beginning of the year, and then I get like a monthly payment through the rest of the year. So I have to spread it out. I'm good at saving because I have to spread myself out in order to live. So
sure.
After that point, it really
do you guys have any other debt, Cody?
No other debt. Well, all right, that's a lie. We have a car that's going to be completely paid off in January. Well, in December, it's going to be paid off.
Okay.
Completely. So other than that, we just have a house.
Okay. And you said I've done the math. I cut you off, but.
Well, after I've done the math, and I know John just corrected me not to do that, but I've done the math in a conservative manner as though I'm going to be increasing my income only half of what I've been increasing it the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
At about a $20,000 increase because I like to do my numbers extremely conservatively.
Sure.
And it should only take us about 3 to 4 years to pay off the house.
I know, Cody. Yeah,
I do my numbers.
I mean, honestly,
I don't know what to do. If I get his name off of it, or if there's a way to do that without refinancing. It just seems so dumb to refinance with such high interest rates right now.
Right. No, I hear you. Yeah, and I think if you talk to your mortgage broker, I mean, maybe there's a way around it. You know, there's sometimes they have different stuff, but I mean, I don't know if that's going to be a situation for you. But I mean, there's a part of me, Cody, and I'm going to just say it, that I'm like, listen. You're not going to have this house for 15 years. You guys have an aggressive plan.
We don't want the house.
Yeah, you have an aggressive plan to pay it off. You sound, as you're talking to us, like you're on track. There's not been a situation so far with your dad and all of that.
Go ahead, because I'm kind of burning here. Go ahead.
Go. Well, I was going to say, I mean, like,
I want to hear the fire. Throw me down.
No, we're not going to throw you down.
No,
I mean,
no.
I would run the math and just see, okay, how much extra? Yeah, because if your interest rate is going to be 7% versus 2% or whatever, 5%, how much extra is that? How much longer would that take you? And you guys need to really run these numbers out, and you and your wife need to sit down and ask, okay, is the extra tens of thousands, whatever it is, dollars that we're going to pay if we refinance to get him off and clean slated, what is it worth it to us? Is that because right now it doesn't sound like the relationship is overly strained. It doesn't sound like he's a toxic person because there are people that call Cody. Listen though, and it goes down the drain, right? This is why we tell people not to do this, because it can go down the drain really fast. And so if you were in a situation, and we get this a lot, where it's like, oh my gosh, her name's on it and she's doing this and wanting this and telling me here, and it's just a disaster. I would be like, no, and I would get out of it no matter the interest rate because of the toxic relationship. Right. But what you're saying is you're in Pennsylvania, he's in California. You guys seem that it's okay. Like you guys, from a relationship standpoint, there hasn't been this big, explosion. And you're going to pay it off in 3 years. So all of that, I would be comfortable, Cody, if you just keep going down the track and pay it off in 3 years and be done with it. Again, if the timeline was different, if the relationship was different, my answer probably would change.
Yeah, I hear one word coming through.
Pay it off when we don't really.
I know, but listen, I hear one word, and that is ego. You said it. You said it while Rachel was talking. I just want this personal accomplishment, bro. You took out a loan with your daddy's signature on it. It would almost be irresponsible right now for you to flex your ego to the tune of however many thousands of dollars that your ego would cost you. And to keep going, your ego says, I just got a $40,000 raise. I'm going to get a $40,000 next year and a $40,000 the year after that and a year after that. What you haven't experienced is there is usually, when you get into an industry, there's a low bar, and then you do a really great job and you go way up and then you go way up again, but it does begin to plateau. And while we're at it, your ego says, I make $90,000 a year. We don't need this little house. We need something that better reflects us. And so what I want you to do is to take your ego and put it in a drawer and say, what is best for our family right now in this season? And let's go from there, because I'm super nervous that you have gone over the next 5 years and given yourself a $40,000 raise in your mind, put that on paper, and you and your wife have talked about the house you could afford. And I think that's not real. And that you've reverse engineered that fantasy all the way back to this discomfort with your dad's name is still on your loan.
Well, I have to admit, we're really not. We bought this one at 185, and we're actually thinking of coming closer to you guys, Tennessee, Arkansas. And with what we're looking at, it really would only run somewhere between 200 to 250, which is what our house is kind of going for right now.
Okay, so you'd keep that flat, which would be awesome. Good for you. And y'all are moving, that's awesome too. I'm with Rachel. I would ride this thing out. It sounds like your dad's a great guy and is not abusing his relationship. I would ride this out until y'all are committed to what your next steps are.
Yep.
And I just paid the sucker off.
Yep.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
I'm a bit stressed out right now. My girlfriend and I are in an immense amount of student debt, and I fear it's creating some burdens on me right now.
Yeah.
No, you and your girlfriend might each have debt, but we don't have debt. We aren't married. So how much debt do you have?
I have $120,000.
And how much debt does she have?
$120,000.
Oof.
And so if we combine this, we got $250,000. How old are you two?
23 years old.
So if you get married, you got a whole world of hurt going on, huh?
Yes.
And that's stressing you out.
Extremely.
Now I'm caught up. What's your question?
She wants to get her master's, and it'll add $50,000 more debt to our student loans.
To her student loans.
To her student loans, yes.
Are you engaged?
No.
Okay.
Maybe she's not the one.
I don't know, Dave.
I do.
What's the degrees in?
I have a master's of architecture. She has a bachelor's of architecture.
Okay.
Why do you need a master's in architecture to be able to be an architect? You don't. You just have to pass the bar.
Exactly.
I used an architect to build this building, which is, I don't know, we've got about $400 million in this project, I guess. I have no idea if any of the architects have a master's. So far, it hadn't fallen down since 2019, so I think we're okay. But we did have certified architects, one of the top architectural firms in the area, but I have no idea if they had masters or not. I didn't ask. Also didn't ask where they went to school. Point being, you don't have to have a master's to be a successful architect. Hello?
That's what I've been trying to tell her, and honestly, it was the wrong choice for me. The only reason I got it is because my undergrad degree, I was debt-free.
I'm not calling you dumb. I'm just forgetting it. I'm just saying you don't have to have it to be successful. And if you don't have to have it to be successful, then and you're already $120,000 in debt, young lady, then young lady, it's not smart to go another $50,000 in debt to get something you don't need to be successful. That's silly.
I agree.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? What caused you to what caused you to be okay with your debt and then suddenly not okay with her debt, I guess is my question.
Because she wants to add more.
Because right now I see us as being on an equal playing field, and we'll be able to get rid of the debt as a team. She does live with me and my parents.
Interesting. Okay. There's a lot of twists and turns in this conversation. No wonder you keep viewing it as ours, because you guys have set up a situation where you're pretending that is the case. And so that I can understand why you're going along with that. But the truth is you're dating, you're not engaged, you're certainly not married yet. You really don't know what's going to happen on down the road. And if I were in your shoes, I'd be laser focused on what I'm doing with my life and my money going forward. I think that's the best thing you can do.
Well, and here's the thing. Here's where we're coming from. We're being a little bit sarcastic and flippant with your love life here. But the truth is that couples that can agree on the principles of how we're going to handle money going forward, including like the issues of saving, the issues of generosity, the issues of going into debt, the issues that we're going to be on a budget and we're going to tell all our money what to do. We're going to be in agreement on that. We both get a vote. Couples that do that have an unbelievably high probability statistically of making it in their marriage sticking, okay? And so here's some data for you that's very interesting. You've heard this phrase, Gabriel, that 50% of the marriages end in divorce, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not true, by the way. It's an inaccurate statistic when you actually get into it. Here it gets very weird, okay? If you both graduate from college, if you both make $50,000 a year or more, if both of your parents are still married, which is not something you can control, the other things are things you can control. If you have a 4-year degree, in other words, and you're making money, and both your parents are still married, and you're in agreement on how money's going to be handled, and you're in agreement about religion, and you're in agreement about kids, how many we think we're going to have and how they're going to be treated. Are the inmates going to run the asylum, or are the parents? And how are we going to deal with in-laws, the extended parent problem, and so forth. If you can get an agreement on those 4 things and you graduate from school, and again, you're aligned, which you're not, by the way, okay? But if you're aligned on all of those things and you both graduate from school and you both have good incomes, you have like a 90% probability this marriage is going to work. So you can control the situation you get into. It's not like randomly marriages just end. No, we sign up for stuff that didn't have a chance. So if you get married, if you have babies before you get married, you lower the chance of your marriage lasting. Statistically, if you have babies before you get out of high school, your statistical probability of making is almost zero.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's almost zero. You can do it. Some people do. There's exceptions you can point to, and that's a wonderful thing that they did make it. But statistically, if you want to design a life that causes your marriage to work, that's not the way you design it.
That's right. That's right.
The data tells you don't do that, okay? So that's what you're facing here, and that's what's giving Jade and I pause, and that's why I jokingly said maybe she's not the one, but it really wasn't that much of a joke, Gabe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you guys need to sit down and say, all right, are we going to get aligned on this? Because I'm not okay with this. I'm freaking out that we have $250,000 if we get married we have to take, and you're with a wink and a nod going and get a master's degree. You don't have to be successful in the architectural field. I'm not okay with that, babe. Now let's talk that through and see how that works, right?
That's right. That's right.
And so, yeah, it's not
the hard part is she's ensconced in the life now. They're living with the parents, and that's the hard part of this whole entire thing is when you intertwine your life like that, and then something like this comes to threaten to derail it. You're more likely to stay in a situation that maybe is not all that you want to because it's so tangled together. And it's like, well, if I say this, then what happens? Does she move out? Do I move out? And you create.
It's her parents. She moves out. That's how that works. But yeah. Moms and dads, keep in mind, sometimes when you're trying to do something nice, you create a bigger mess.
Mm-hmm,
and these parents, they create a bigger mess. Yeah, I'll just bring her on in.
Yeah.
Yeah, see how that works out. Man. Y'all, this is just.
Let me tell you something, Dave. If I said...
You don't think Sam's going to say that?
If I said, Mom, Dad, can Sam Warshaw come live in the house with us and be my boyfriend? I'd be on the moon. Y'all wouldn't... It'd be unsolved mysteries.
Well, yeah. And we would never have found the body on Sam either.
Man, okay. We'd be off this earth.
You do what? You say what, child?
Oh, off the earth. I'm telling you. No trace. Gone without a trace.
A 48 hours mystery.
I know, Dateline.
That is absolutely no mystery at all.
That's right.
We know what happened.
Yeah. We know what happened. I'm just
you know
blown
why?
away.
You know why? Because he knows the numbers.
Yeah.
Because he's got good. You don't have to know these numbers statistically like I do to have good walking around sense and say this doesn't work. So Gabriel, you got a mess on your hands, buddy. I'm sorry, and your mom and dad added to it by inviting her in there. So you guys, if you all were standalone right now, each of you had an apartment and each of you had a life, you'd be looking at this through a different set of eyes.
That's right.
It would change the whole conversation. That's what they've messed up. They thought they were doing something nice by furnishing housing, and it's cheaper. The kids can save some money. Yeah, you weren't thinking about all the other unintended consequences of these decisions. So, yeah. Gabriel, if she can't get aligned on this with you, don't go forward, honey. Go ahead and call it now. If you can get aligned, then y'all work through the rest of the crap we just talked about, and you can probably make it. That's what I would tell you. I'm sorry. That's kind of harsh, but
it is.
That is where we
tough.
are. Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
What's up, Dylan? How we doing?
Hey, I just had a quick question for you both. I'm assuming, John, you'll be able to answer this a little better, but you might.
Hey, Jade is way smarter than me.
We'll see how it goes. So it would seem that my mom is boycotting my rehearsal and my rehearsal dinner because I changed a small plan.
I don't know. I might be able to answer this one because I know about that.
Dude, I'm laughing with you, man. What'd you do, Richard? What did you change that was so bad?
So I'll run it quick. So, back months ago when we gave them the opportunity to kind of plan the dinner, it's not what we wanted originally. We told them, we just wanted to have pizza and go back to the Airbnb and just have a good time with the bridal party. Well, my mom absolutely insisted on paying for this and making, a big dinner, and we go out and all this and that. And obviously, listening to you guys, I try to save as much money as possible, but she wasn't on board with that. And, I gave her the opportunity for months and months and months. And a few days ago, I talked to her and told her, I'm like, hey, we're really thinking about switching back to our original plan. And I was like, I'll give you a few days to figure it out. Well, I just waited one day, and I was like, you know what? I should do what I really want to do. It's my special day. And of course my fiance's too, but, and I decided, I'm like, hey, this is what we're going to do instead.
I didn't see this coming,
but
I didn't see this coming, but I want to lean on you a little bit and you push back. Okay.
Of course.
Why would you take this from your mom? It's like a dinner that she's paying for.
Well, just because it's originally not what we wanted. And I should add to this too. She started inviting a bunch of people that we didn't want there.
There it is.
There we go. Okay.
Well,
And
that too.
Lead with that, brother. Lead with that, because that changes the game.
But that wasn't the biggest issue, I don't think. It's that she didn't really respect that we originally wanted to do something else.
Sure.
That's how I took it.
Dylan, is there strings attached to this?
As in,
I'm doing this for you, so somewhere down the line, there's going to be an expectation of something I want from you.
I'm not going to go as far as that, but it's not
a
possibility.
Oh,
Yes.
I know about it.
All right, so here's the deal. This is as heartbreaking and complicated as this is very, very simple. You made a grown-up choice. And with all grown-up choices, there always comes grown-up consequences to those choices. Unfortunately, your mom is choosing to act like a child. And I mean that with all due respect. I don't like talking about people's mamas, but here we are.
Oh, I've said it a few times.
Right. So one of the hardest things I think any of us will experience is when somebody we love opts out of relationship with us because they're choosing to be immature, because they are making our whatever, how we're raising our kid, what school our kid goes to, our choice of diet, our whatever you want to say. They make our lives about them.
Yeah.
And she is choosing to not be in relationship with you and your wife during your big day. And that just hurts. And so it's a both and. I want you to spend time, even just for a few minutes, saying like, this sucks, man. I want my mom at my wedding. I hate that she's acting like this. And you and I both know she acts like this on other things too. This isn't isolated, right?
No, not at all.
Awesome.
And can I add something?
Of course.
She's going to come to your dinner.
Well,
I think she's going to come.
I'm hoping.
So I would write her a letter.
So bad.
Hey, I would write her a letter that she can go back to over and over and over again, and say it would mean the world to us that you come. I know that you wanted a big thing, and I'm so grateful that you're honoring us to this one. We really want you here.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that she won't even come to the rehearsal, which is the worst part to me. I'm okay if she didn't want to come to the dinner.
She's saying that. She's saying that, and I don't know her, so I may be totally off base. I think that this is her last-ditch effort to get her way on this, and I would probably be willing to put I put some chips on the table on this, that she's going to end up there. I don't think she's going to miss her son's major days over this. Now, maybe I don't know her, and I'm completely wrong, but something tells me that when the rubber hits the road, she's going to be there.
What about your old man? Have you talked to him about it?
Yeah, I actually spoke to him today, and he just initially, it's first time. Also, keep in mind, my mother won't talk to me at all. She will not talk to me.
Of course. Well, you ruined her life, jerk.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're ripping her heart out.
But I did speak to my dad this morning, and he was saying that she just feels hurt, and it doesn't have anything to do with the dinner, which I don't believe, because this kind of stuff has happened before, where she doesn't get her way, and this, which I don't believe. But
well, he's probably been covering her for a long time too, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, obviously, he has to take her side in most cases, and I don't blame him. Yeah. But I spoke to him, and
so if she won't talk to you, the best I can tell you is what I would do in your situation, and that would be I would write a letter, and I would do my best to deliver it by hand. If y'all live in the same community, put it in her mailbox by hand.
I was at her house yesterday.
Okay, and let her have something. Because listen, if you call her, if you text her, she is going to hear that one time and through her filter of Dylan is trying to ruin my life.
Yeah.
And Dylan's going to embarrass me because I'm in charge of the dinner, and everyone's going to ask me why I just did pizza, and it's all about her. But if you write it down, people can go back to the letter and back to it and back to it, and sometimes, not always, but sometimes that truth has a way of distilling itself down, and she can rest in, he wants me there. Him and his wife are just trying to do things a little bit differently. It's not about me, etc. And you hope that's the case. It's not, but we all have family.
That's what I'm hoping, but that's a great idea.
And tell your dad, we really, really want both of y'all there.
Oh, I told him that. I told him that this morning when I spoke to him. I'm like, if the worst case scenario happens, I'm like, please, Dad, be at my wedding.
Yes.
Like at the very least.
Yes.
I'm like, so. No, it's pretty crazy. But
I hate it for you.
Yeah.
I hate it for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, though. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, it's not every day I get to talk to somebody who just willy-nilly rips his mom's heart out, right, Jade?
Dude, look, when it comes to these weddings, it's like that. Like, if I had done what all the parents had wanted, I would have been married in a different state. I would have gotten married on a different date. I would have gotten married, in a different dress. Like, they all have their preferences, but at the end of the day, it's your day.
It's your thing. And sometimes it's just a dinner. Do the dinner. But if it is that big of a deal, you made a grown-up choice, and that comes with grown-up consequences.
That's right.
New jobs report out, where the jobs are, all in one chart. Very interesting. Explosion in January jobs in, guess what? Leisure and hospitality.
Yeah, so if you look at the top three categories, first of all, 450,000 jobs, nobody predicted that one, right? Because we were still hearing things of Omicron spreading, and so, what's
450,000 new jobs
450,000 new jobs
were taken.
Yes.
In the month of January.
Yeah, a big spike. And so if we look at where those are broken down, leisure and hospitality, 151,000 of those. So clearly what's happening is we've got restaurants are reopening in some states across the country. Some are staffing back up due to restrictions coming down. I mean, that's just the reality. We're seeing in a lot of states, depending on, we're not getting into politics, but that is how this is divided. And so as states are opening up, so is the leisure and hospitality industry. And so they're staffing up. Obviously, professional and business services, that's just a fancy way of saying small businesses, corporations, businesses are hiring. That was the second highest amount of jobs, 86,000. And then this is interesting. The third highest was retail, 61,000. So we're seeing slowly the thawing across the country as it relates to restrictions and kind of the traditional economy. And so we're seeing retail, which has been hit very hard during the pandemic, seeing those jobs being added. It's very interesting. And then final piece, transportation and warehousing. This is good for manufacturing. Specifically, Dave, we've seen a big supply chain problem. Maybe you've seen it in your grocery stores, depending on where you're listening and viewing from. But truckers, there's a need as of November of 2021, they needed 80,000 truckers to fully staff up on the supply chain. 7,500 truckers were added in the month of January. So it's kind of a snapshot of not just what's happening, but where the opportunities are for people. Let's just be real, you need a bigger shovel. You need to add that second or third job. This is where people are hiring.
From an economics standpoint, in just the movement and the disruption of labor, the pandemic was dramatically unfair to those who could least afford it. Servers, hotel maids,
hourly wage earners were hit
people
hard.
People working retail. None of these are super high-paid gigs, by and large. Not none of them, but most of them aren't. And they were inordinately the hardest hit because those were the people that got completely shut down. And now that medical freedom is coming back and people are free to, in some states it's been for quite a while, and some it's just now a brand new thing, to reopen and travel and stay in a hotel, and go to a restaurant. Now, we got states that's still virtually impossible to do. But the thing I was hearing at first is that they couldn't get them to come back to work.
That's true.
So I'm wondering if this surge in leisure and hospitality, as an example, is the fact that the freaking unemployment just ran out.
Yeah, well,
they had to go back to work.
Yeah. Well, we've got a very
magically they went back to work when there's no more unemployment.
That's right. That's part of it. But we're also seeing that the pandemic itself spun off a whole bunch of jobs that didn't exist pre-pandemic. So when you're watching the news, folks, and you hear this, well, we've got this employment gap. We've got more jobs available. It's about 10.3 million versus people that are unemployed. We're now getting into the low 8s. We're steamrolling towards a 3%, Dave. You're going to see unemployment rate in the 3s very soon. So,
which is by far below real employment. We're in a deficit.
Yeah. So what's going on? Couple things. More jobs have been created that didn't exist pre-pandemic. A lot of health services job. You have a lot of support staff that are being hired to support doctors and nurses. That's one example of where hospitals have staffed up. Now, the other thing that we've seen, Dave, is that more people are starting businesses in the pandemic. If they were laid off or furloughed, or maybe they stayed with it, but they got some stimulus money and they wanted to start that side hustle. As you know, and we teach this entrepreneurship all the time in EntreLeadership, the barrier for entry is lower than it has ever been in the United States to start a business. So we're seeing on the rolls now more companies have been started.
So they not only started a business, didn't go back to the job.
They didn't go back.
But they also now need to hire people.
They do.
That's added even more jobs.
So you think about the person who was making an hourly wage as a waitress or maybe working in a night shift at a hotel. Okay, so you're looking at, I'm just ballparking this, but this is somewhere between a $10 to maybe $12 an hour job. So they can now...
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah. So
now it's $22.
It has jumped. However, they went out and said, hey, I can replace that and I don't have to work the crazy hours. Weekends, and put up with crazy people at your local chain restaurant. These are the restaurants, by the way, that have struggled the most. Your faster food services. For instance, Stacey and I, we went to a lovely dinner locally with my in-laws and my brother and sister-in-law this weekend. We went to a 5-star restaurant. Let me tell you something. They haven't struggled at all, other than the initial shutdown.
But the servers in there are making bank.
Because it's a great experience and the food's great.
But the services make.
The
servers
are making great
bank,
money because people want to go to a high-end experience and have great food. If you look at the chain restaurants, you just looked at human behavior, that's where we saw less traffic and things kind of contract. So all that said, we've seen a great entrepreneurship explosion. We're seeing the tip of it. Over the next 6 months, I think you're going to see a record amount of business starts. In fact, we already know from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, applications to start businesses at the highest rate it's ever been.
So the Supreme Court mandate comes out, and the Supreme Court comes aside and sets the Biden mandate aside for vaccines. So companies like ours at Ramsey, if you want to get a vaccine, you can. But we're not going to interfere in your medical freedom. You get to decide. We don't make you do anything with your medical freedom. One way or the other.
That's right.
And so companies like ours are hiring like crazy, and people are leaving these companies that are clamping down on taking their medical freedoms and coming to companies like ours.
Yep.
So we're still seeing that great resignation move.
No
Some
question.
of it is associated with the medical freedom issue. Some of it is associated with just this waking up and I hate my job and life's too short and the pandemic reminded me someday I'm going to die.
That's right. And one other thing that we've seen happen. Companies, because you saw the hourly wage go up with Target, Walmart, Amazon leading the way. Here's what's happening. People are leaving their jobs, record pace. 20 million people have left their jobs over the last 5 months. It's going to continue. Why? Because there's a great kind of arms race with companies. They're enticing people with signing bonuses and bigger salaries, and that's going to catch up to people. However, if you need a bigger shovel and you're in the Ramsey tribe, go get it.
Yeah.
Go get it now.
Yeah,
it's not going to last forever.
Because it's not, house prices aren't going to be this, and job prices aren't going to be this white hot forever. Supply-demand curves always shift one way or the other. They never stay exactly where they are, and that includes the supply of labor.
That's correct.
This is The Ramsey Show. Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
I think it's important just to call out, homes are outrageously expensive.
Oh, yeah.
The last I looked, and again, don't hold me to this statistic, but it's the lowest inventory is supply and demand. There's just not enough houses.
Yes.
And some of these big Wall Street firms are coming in just buying them, writing checks for them and buying up neighborhood. There's new competition on the ground that has never existed before.
That's right.
Housing has just gotten insanely expensive. Yeah. And that means for the young couple who's 26 and 27, and she's a teacher and he's a youth minister, she is a nurse practitioner, he is trying to get a small business going, y'all are going to be renting for a long time. And
100%.
That's not because people hate you. It's because to get into a house, it's $500,000 on the low end.
Yeah.
To get in a dream home or a really nice place. It used to be $500,000. Now it's $1 million. It's just gotten bananas, right? All across the country.
I mean, I think now more than ever, you know, we're part of the debt-free message. Like we're always telling folks to get debt-free. And I think now more than ever, it's so important if you're at the cusp, right? Like you're just starting out, you're considering student loans, or you're talking to your kids about college. It is so, so, so important for those of us who got in debt, you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda, like we're here now. But for everybody else who's right at that cusp, it's more important than ever because this journey that you're talking about, John, to home ownership is longer. It might take you 7 years. It might take you however long to get there. You definitely don't need to make it longer by having to pay off debt, right? So what I'm kind of likening that to is when Sam and I, when we first started out, of course, we had a bunch of debt. It took us 7.5 years to pay off that debt once we realized, hey, we need to pay it off. So really, we were 9 years in to marriage by the time our debt was paid off. And we rented for 10 years because we were like, we're not going to buy a house when we still have this debt. Our debt was our mortgage, right? So I know I know that feeling to say, hey, you're not going to buy a house for 10 years.
But can we call this out? This is important. I was at you and Sam's house. Like there was my wife and I, there's a whole group of us over there the night for a holiday party.
Yeah.
You have 2 little kids.
Yep.
Your house is extraordinary. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Right? It's amazing. And I think it's hard when you're 32. It's hard when you're 26. It's hard when you're 40, and the math isn't adding up. To not be able to just exhale and see the other side is if you'll wait and do it right.
Yeah.
There was a lot of laughter in that home. There wasn't a lot of angst.
That's right.
There was a lot of joy. There was a lot of fun. There's a lot of, I wonder what other house we could get, right? It's a different ethos than I borrowed half of the 1% down because I got this special loan program and from my brother and then this other guy, and then I got a bonus from my work, and I was able to get into this place. Nobody moved, nobody breathed.
Yeah.
You don't. That's not, that home owns you. You don't own that home, right?
That's
it's just a different way, but it's thinking through like, because I was there too. I mean, I remember walking around being like, I'll never have a family. I'm never going to have a home for our family. I'm always going to be this, like begging the place where I work for help with, and it's just different now.
Well,
right? On the other side of it.
The temptation, I think, John, is when you are in that headspace of like, is this ever going to happen? Like feasibly, could this ever happen? You start, and I think that's the way a lot of people feel right now is the way these prices are and the way my income is and what it takes to even get a $400,000 house or a $300,000 house is astronomical. And so you start to feel like the gap getting wider and wider. And if you start feeling hopeless, then the reaction is, well, who cares? Like, whatever, I'm just going to live my life. And next thing I know, I'm seeing you out at Applebee's and at Chili's and you're buying up the bar. And I'm like, listen, you're just making it worse. Don't lose hope, because when you lose hope, it's like you just widen the gap even further.
Or you make quick, unthought through decisions when you feel hopeless. Right?
Yeah.
And that's when you just go buy the house.
That's right.
And then in 7 years, when there's a market correction and your adjustable rate mortgage goes way up, a really, really wealthy person is going to buy it from you from the bank at pennies on the dollar. And you just help that person get even richer than they already are, right?
Yeah.
Because you just went.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking to me. And sometimes it's one of those things like people ask me in interviews, like, what would you tell 22-year-old you? And I just laugh and go, nothing, because that guy was an idiot. He wouldn't listen. And so I feel like sometimes we're just talking to a wall, because I remember being 27 and thinking this is never going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's just simply because I didn't know what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
You know?
The time's going to pass.
Right.
I mean, I keep saying, I feel like I'm on repeat saying that the time's going to pass anyway.
Put the work in.
Put the work in. It makes me think of that scripture. Dave quotes it all the time. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. And a lot of us, our heart is sick because we're like, man, I had this hope, but it feels like it's never going to happen. Yeah. But if you can just strike up that desire, because it says when desire comes, it's a tree of life. So if you can have enough desire to go, I'm going to see this through. I don't exactly know what the path looks like. Like, I'm just going to keep being smart with money. There's something to be said for staying the course. I'm going to keep budgeting. I'm going to keep being smart with money. I'm going to keep setting money aside. And you will look up and you will have a nice stack of money that you've saved up. Who knows how long it's going to take, but you will look up and what used to be a mountain turns into a hill, and what used to be a hill turns into a little, just a little swoop.
And you might be in a different state.
Yeah.
You might have different friends in your house.
That's right.
You might have a different job. When I was 27,
yes,
YouTube didn't exist. Podcast wasn't a thing.
That's right, John.
And so who knows what's coming down the way?
Exactly.
Just take the next right step.
And that's such a good point. I'm a belabor this a little bit longer because I do think this is probably helping someone. Who among us can look 10 years ago and say, I knew exactly where I was going to be 10 years later? No one. Like, you don't know where. You can guess and you can pontificate about it and say, well, in 7 years I will be here and I'll have this job and I'll live over here with this many kids. But you truly don't know. And so,
especially now, if you're seeing the AI stuff coming out in our field, like, it's all going to be different in 7 years, man.
I mean, but the point is, you make these plans, but you don't know what's on the other side of time. And all you can do is be consistent and do the things that you know to do. Don't grow weary in well-doing, because at the right time, you'll reap a harvest of blessing. That's really what it is. And that's really what we're getting to, is just don't give up. Keep going. We know it's hard. We acknowledge it's difficult. I look at the numbers and sometimes I'm like, just that. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's tough. You just got to be consistent.
There's nothing to say, but it's similar to the grief is similar to sitting with somebody who's just lost a loved one.
Yeah.
You had a dream. You had a dream that you were going to drive a car that you felt safe in, that you were going to live in a nice home, and it was going to look like the HGTV generation homes that you grew up watching.
Right.
You had this picture of what your life was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's different. And so I'll sit with you. It's the worst.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change the math. Just as similar as I've told people who have lost a child or a parent or a loved one, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so now what are we going to do? Right?
Yeah.
It's that heartbreaking moment. Here was this dream. I was going to be this and this. It's gone. And because we're looking at the numbers. The numbers are what the numbers are. The interest rates are bananas. The houses are expensive. There's very few of them that are out there. And if there is a good one at a reasonable price, it's war. I'm in that war right now, right? And so it just is what it is. I'm not going to give my integrity over. I'm not going to give over my frustration. I'm not going to make a rash decision that puts my family at risk.
Right.
I'm going to choose and own reality, and this is it. And then I'm going to make the next right step I can, given that set of truth.
Yeah, I love that. I keep thinking, like, tactically, we're feeling this. What can we do? And it just came in my mind. I love the social media handles that focus on everybody's home is not aesthetic. Everybody's life is not aesthetic. And I love following those accounts because it makes you realize, okay, like, I can be content where I am. Like, everybody's cabinets aren't bright white with, white marble countertops.
Formica won't kill you.
Exactly.
Linoleum won't kill you, right?
And I'm like, at the very least, one of the things we can start doing is bringing more reality into our daily life and just finding ways to be content with where we're at and making sure that we're not comparing our current state with someone else's social media highlight reel state, because if that's what you're reaching for, you are going to come up short every single time. Let's be honest about that. So anyway, John, this has been great chopping it up with you. Listen, I hope that conversation was helpful for you, and I'm so grateful that you're here. We're going to do our best to help guide you guys through this, because it's not easy. The mortgage market is not easy right now.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.